What's up, and welcome to another edition of the Cover 2 Recap. I'm Edward Lewis, publisher of BruinsSportsport.com. He's Joey Kaufman, the UCLA beat writer for the OC Register. We're here today at Spalding Field, where UCLA wrapped up day 9 of spring ball, and they were bit by the injury bug a little bit today. Alex Van Dyke grabbed his hamstring early in practice and didn't return. Craig Lee appeared to do the same. Mossy Johnson wasn't out here after tweaking something on Monday. Simon Goins was actually limping around. He didn't look healthy at all today. And Colton Miller took a lot of his reps at starting right tackle. Other guys like Priest Willis, Caleb Benenoch, Eldridge Masson all continued to sit out. So a little bit of the injury bug halfway through spring ball. Any of those injuries kind of stand out to you?
Just Goins probably stood out the most to me because it wasn't like a play where he bumped his knee. He just looked gassed and really tired, looked like he had a hard time moving. I think at other times this spring it seemed like he's looked like he's getting back into form. In the last couple of practices, he just looks beat.
That was really the only injury that looked more serious than in a couple days. He was limping around pretty heavily, but everybody else kind of looks like they were just getting stretched out or a little tape job, and they'll be fine. So nothing too concerning there. It was a Josh Rosen day at starting quarterback, and like we've done in the Cover 2 Recap every single day out here, we're going to break it down. He had a couple throws that I thought were eye-popping. What did you think of his day?
He had one really good throw on the end. I think that was it was a first and goal somewhere around the 10. He drops back and he's kind of moving around. He finds his guy in the end zone. It was a walk-on. The name's slipping me. But he just rifles it in there. It was a really impressive throw just in terms of zip, and the ball just really, throws like that really pop.
He looked to be moving well around here. He was in the pocket again. He was doing well in there, getting away from pressure, making good throws. He had a deep ball to Jordan Lasley that made people kind of wow. And the offense, I think this is the underrated part of Rosen. The offense just runs smoothly under him. You know, the other guys, it's a little bit herky-jerky. There's a big play here, but then a negative play. With Rosen, everything is pretty run smoothly, like a well-oiled machine. Afterwards, Jordan Payton and Noel Mazzoni talked about Rosen. What were your takeaways from them?
Both of them praised his kind of just overall grasp of the offense. This is his 9th practice, and they both kind of sound like this guy's a vet and has an understanding of the offense. And Noel brought this up too. Bosco ran a similar kind of setup to what UCLA is running now, so it's not kind of night and day. It's a little similar setup to what he's kind of run before.
I thought Jordan Payton gushed about Josh Rosen and almost gave the vibe that, okay, we know this guy's going to be our starter, so I should probably start hyping him up a little bit. I mean, he talked about him glowingly, said, I'm really surprised at his development through these first couple months on campus. Now we know why he was a 5-star, all this kind of stuff. So you can kind of tell that this team is starting to realize, okay, this is our guy, and we need to back him. Is that kind of the vibe you're feeling?
He was asked about Rosen, so it was a Rosen question. But usually I feel like a reporter will ask about Rosen, and then he'll explain why he likes Rosen. And then at the end of it, he'll say, but we like everybody. And he didn't do it this time. He kind of just answered directly and kind of assumed Rosen's – I don't know. The tone wasn't like he wasn't trying to give everybody some dap. It was he answered the question and didn't feel compelled to name 4 or 5 other guys.
Outside of Rosen, it was kind of I don't want to say boring day, but it was kind of an uneventful day. A lot of runs, a lot of power runs, a lot of goal line drills, not a whole lot of one-on-ones. So it wasn't a huge observation day for us, but there were a couple top performers. I'll start with my one. I thought Colton Miller filled in great for Simon Goins when he was at the right tackle spot with the ones. It's not easy to block Deion Hollins and Tack McKinley, and he did it well for a redshirt freshman, and he's got a bright future. You had 2 guys that popped to you. Who were they?
Cameron Griffin had one really big hit today on Nathan Starks. It was just a simple halfback dive, and he got in the backfield and just blew the play up. Usually that hasn't happened a ton this spring. I feel like the offensive line has done a good job of getting that first push, but Griffin broke into the backfield. Moore had talked about him a couple days ago as him as a guy who's caught his eye and had a good spring. Another guy, Jake Brendels, had another he's a reliable veteran, had kind of gone along his business, had a pretty good spring, but he's been reliable and usually always gets a good push.
That'll wrap up our coverage of Day 9 out here at Spalding Field. You can follow Joey's coverage of UCLA on Twitter at Joey R. Kaufman. You can follow me on Twitter at Edward_Lewis. Until the next time, thanks for tuning in to the Cover 2 Recap.